What's happening, YouTube? It's your boy Big Just LaFlair from that Facts and Cap podcast. And once again, we back, baby. And what I need y'all to do for me real quick before we get started is I need y'all to subscribe. And thirdly, I need y'all to subscribe, man. Hit that subscribe button, man. We on the journey to 1,000, man. Let's get to 1,000. Let's get monetized so I can keep bringing this content every day. And let's do what we can do. Now, let's get to the topic at hand. We got Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner, for y'all that don't know, she's a Instagram model, just a social media influencer. And she's one of those women who, it's no shame in her game. And I kind of respect that. It's no shame in her game. You know, she doesn't, she takes pride in, you know, just being herself. And, you know, she's dropped a book, a tell-all, like where she's talking about different situations with rappers and athletes who she has dealt with and maybe has some sexual things to do. And, you know, whenever you do that, it's going to give you a bad rep. It's going to give you a bad rep. So basically, she's been deemed as kind of like a damn Corinne Steffens of this era, like a superhead of this era. And that's just what comes with the territory, right? And she's often trolling and joking her way through the situations that people down her for, you know, her reputation, basically. So she ended up having a baby and dating a guy who was 6-7 years younger than her, who plays for the Charlotte Hornets, named PJ Washington. And they had a baby and she left him, allegedly. And social media didn't like that. They're like, damn, this older girl, this grown woman dating this college kid, and basically had a baby by him and left. So it sounds like, you know, maybe she trapped him, right? So she went and did an interview and addressed it. And I can't put the clips up because I don't want to be copyrighted for Academics Podcast, Off the Record Podcast. I'll put his link down below. Shout out to Academics. This is growing one of my favorite podcasts, and he dropped 2 to 3 times a week. Hey, man, that man working. I appreciate what he does. And I just think that he's been dropping some fire content. So he was with Brittany Renner, and she said some things on there. And I'm just kind of going to assess the situation overall. She said some things. Go watch the podcast. That's all I can say. But I will say, when I speak on the situation, because I've never spoke on it on YouTube, what I will say is, when it comes to this situation, right, because basically PJ Washington was all on social media crying about not being able to see his kid and whatnot. I don't know what type of personal things is going on. He's a young cat. I don't know exactly what's going on in their situation, right? But, you know, she's trolling, saying, you know, young boys, like she was at Jackson, Mississippi, at Jackson State. I think that's her alumni, though. But she's trolling, saying, I'm in town, you know, the young boys, where y'all at? So, you know, it's a little funny. I think in this situation, the fans and, you know, Twitter and people with public opinions, it always ends up turning into boy versus girl. You know, the guys think one way, the women think the other way. Me personally, and this is why I get a lot of flack from, say, my friends, or even maybe just when I do these type of videos, if it goes against the grain, people tend to, you know, especially dudes, they tend to be like, oh, well, you ain't with the niggas, you ain't on the men's side, oh, la, 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 la. I think that there's wrong all around in this situation, right? So the men's part of this public opinion is she trapped him. He was a young kid in college. You was a grown woman. You trapped him. You got a baby out of it, and you dipped. The women's side is, this dude, he knew what he was doing. He's a grown man. It takes 2 to tango. He got her pregnant. It is what it is. So for me, I think it's a little bit of both. Because Brittany Renner revealed on there that basically she was on birth control. They discussed it. He wanted to have a baby. She said she was willing to wait, but she also said, I'll give you a baby. She gave him a baby. It didn't work out. But she said that she basically feels like she's the one being demonstratized and that there's no accountability. So if I was talking to PJ Washington, let's say PJ Washington was my son and I'm his dad, this is the advice I would have been told him, which it seems like nobody has told PJ Washington. PJ, You're going to be successful. You're going to be in the league. You're going to make millions of dollars. They're going to be women upon women upon women. Just because you hit some bad bitch pussy does not mean that you need to get her pregnant. The first piece of bad bitch pussy you get does not mean you need to get her pregnant, PJ. And that's the problem. That's what PJ did. PJ is what we like to call around where I'm from a tender dick ass nigga. He got up in that pussy and that pussy controlled him. He was ready to wife it. He didn't want nobody else to hit that shit. He didn't want nobody else to hit that shit. He wanted to hit that shit. So that's where his mistake was. He let this 26, 27-year-old girl kind of manipulate him. Now, I'm not saying she's on some R. Kelly shit. What I'm saying is, and this is where I get on her, where she's wrong. She's seen that you had a future, right? And that's one thing. Women, they love a man with a future, and they, that's the type of guy they want to settle down with. I think she looked at it as a come up. Now, she says that, I was 26, 27. He was 20. Look at Jay-Z and Beyonce. Nobody says nothing about that. Nobody said about Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan, like the age gap. But she's trying to say when it's the other way around, this is what it is. Now, what I will say to that is that you, Brittany Renner, you wouldn't have, if this was a regular 20-year-old man, because she said she was on birth control and he basically talked her out of being on birth control and they planned to have a baby. Would you have planned to have a baby with any other 20-year-old? Like just a regular guy? Like even just a lawyer or just, I don't see that. I don't think you would have had a baby. I think you seen that this nigga was an athlete and he had big money and he had a huge future ahead of him and you came up. That's what it is. I don't see no 26, 27-year-old woman dating no 20-year-old man if he's a regular Joe Smo and just wanting, like literally planning to have a baby. You got off birth control purposely. You purposely had a baby. You said you could have waited. You told him you could have waited, but he wanted to have a baby. So basically his future is what you liked about him and you had the baby. Just say it. If you caught a nigga slipping, that's what you did. As far as him, son, PJ, that don't mean just get the bitch pregnant because you hitting that pussy for once. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You like the way that ass jiggled. You liked all that. You like that about her. She a bad one. Son, I wish there was somebody, some mentor. I don't even know. He might just went against the grain. I'm sure there's players on this team that say, hey, bro, wrap it up. But sometimes you got to learn your lesson the hard way. So he's about to learn a valuable lesson. But I just think that this isn't a situation where it's this person's wrong and this person's wrong. I think both of them kind of basically some fools. Like she basically had a little, I don't know if it's a gold digger. Yeah, she had a gold digger situation. She came up. She saw that this young boy was successful. You started dating him when he went to Kentucky. If you wouldn't have dated him if he wasn't going to the league. If he wasn't going to the league, it wouldn't have been no question you wouldn't have dated him. You dated him. He had potential. You seen that he could probably get some money. Maybe you ended up falling in love with him. Maybe you liked him after that. I'm not saying you didn't have no feelings for him. But when a 20-year-old tells a 26, 27-year-old, hey, let me get you pregnant. Is that normal for the 27-year-old to be like, all right? A 26-year-old woman is not about to let no man, a 20-year-old man get her pregnant. She saw dollar signs. Let's be honest. And as far as him, come on, bro. It's a new lesson. I bet you won't get. Well, you might, because some niggas just let that shit control them. But you got to do better, my boy. It is what it is. And then he got all the crying on social media. I can't see my son. I don't know where my son is. Well, stop having babies with grown women that you don't know nothing about. You probably don't even know how to hold a goddamn baby at 20 years old. But that's just me and that's just my opinion. I think that people got to, people can't keep picking sides of these situations because we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Like he's saying he ain't got his baby. It might have just been shit. She don't live in town no more. We don't know what the idea is. We don't know what the situation is. But I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think this is a situation where she's completely wrong, or do y'all think this is a situation where he's completely wrong, or do we think that there's blame to pass around the whole time, man? And y'all let me know. First of all, I need y'all to hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get me to 100 on this video. I need about 9 more subscribers. Let's get me to 100 on this video, and let's hit that notification bell too, man, so y'all can know when I'm dropping all this hot content at least once a day. I'm gonna try to do 1 video a day. I'm dedicating myself to 1 video a day at least. But I'll give y'all more. Hey, you know what the news cycle is. We got to keep shit cracking. It is what it is, man. It's your boy Big Just LaFlair. Subscribe to that Facts and Cap podcast that just dropped yesterday. It's on the link tree in the link below. And we out, baby.
Subscribe to the channel.